What's up everybody, I'm back, welcome to a brand new video, and today we're going to be doing a Godzilla Monster Planet news and updates. So there's a lot of really crazy news to talk about with Godzilla Monster Planet, and I'm really excited for this anime, so let's get right into it. First off, I want to talk about some custom designs for Godzilla in the anime. We know now what Godzilla looks like in the upcoming Godzilla anime, but there were some custom designs for what Godzilla could potentially look like for Godzilla Monster Planet. They were made by someone called MUGI, M-U-G-I, MUGI, I don't know. Someone on Twitter, he made these custom designs. They're pretty interesting. I'm kind of glad they didn't go with it. He's got like way too fat of a tail, but I do like the very crazy stylized version of Godzilla. We've never really seen anything quite like this before, so I really do like it for that reason. And it's also interesting to see the way he plays around with the color of Godzilla. I think that's a really interesting thing. Now, I think I've mentioned this on the channel, but just for the sake of thoroughness, I want to bring it back up again. There was a Godzilla Monster Planet banner that recently came out, and it just is Godzilla Monster Planet. It's pretty cool. Now, I know what you guys all want me to talk about, and I will get there, but there's one other thing I have to bring up first. One very interesting thing that I've heard no one mention. So, the other night, I was looking on Netflix for the upcoming movie Oakjaw. So that's a Netflix original starring Steven Yeun from The Walking Dead. And while I was on Netflix, I decided to stop by and add the Godzilla anime to my list. Now, when I searched up Godzilla, something interesting happened. Two different movies came up as a result. One of them being Godzilla Monster Planet. This is the new Netflix original Godzilla anime. The other one just being titled Godzilla. It's got the same description, everything like that. It still states that it's an anime, but it's put under a different folder other than Godzilla Monster Planet. So I'm curious as to what this is. Maybe as time goes on, this second edition will be transformed into whatever the upcoming Godzilla Monster Planet sequel is. Maybe they're just putting that there as a placeholder until we get the confirmation of what the second movie's title is, seeing as though we know now that the anime is going to be a trilogy. I don't know, I just thought it was fairly interesting that they have two different Godzilla animes on their Netflix, both of them to be added in a future date, both of them the same description but different titles, and they're two different categories. You can add them both to your Netflix queue, so once one goes up, that'll be instantly added to your Netflix queue, and whenever the other one comes out, that one will also be added to your Netflix queue right away. Now, recently on Gormaru Island, it was revealed that there was going to be an Godzilla anime film trilogy presentation, and that was today, Monday the 12th, aka today as of when I'm recording this video. So we were all speculating about what we could possibly see revealed at this upcoming presentation, and now we know for a fact it is Godzilla's design, or at least the poster design. Yes, this is the official Godzilla Monster Planet design. Now, there's one obvious comparison you can make. I made the same comparison on Instagram and a couple other places, and I would really like to stress the importance of going down below in the links in the description and following me on mostly my King of Kings Instagram account, because that is pretty much where I post my live reaction to all this stuff, or at least where I post about this first. YouTube usually comes later, and I know that's where a lot of you guys follow me from, but a lot of people have been sending me this Godzilla anime poster not knowing that I've seen it, and this happens a lot where I see something and I post on Instagram about it and I'm working on the video, but before I can actually get the video out, I post on Instagram. But there's so many people who are just sending me messages because they don't realize that I've seen it yet. So I do stress the importance of go and follow me on Instagram. That's the best place to get contact of me and the best place to find out if I've seen this news already. Now, the obvious comparison everyone's been making, including myself, about this design is that it's just Godzilla 2014's design. Fairly interesting because Anno and them who worked on Shin Godzilla didn't seem to like 2014's design. They didn't really seem to like 2014 at all. So it's kind of crazy that we got this Godzilla anime coming out and it's just the exact same design as 2014. Now there are some differences. The dorsal fins are a bit longer. It looks like he has a bit longer of a snout, and then maybe people have been calling him a little bit more bulky. I don't think he looks more bulky than the 2014 Godzilla, at least not from this angle. But the main differences I see are the dorsal fins on the back, the non-inclusion of gills on his neck from what we can tell, and kind of the longer face. But yes, the comparison is there. It is very close to the 2014 design. Like, it's crazy similar to the 2014 design. In fact, here's a picture of all three 2010s Godzilla that we have as of now, which is 2014's Godzilla, Godzilla from Shin Godzilla, as well as this Godzilla, and you can see the top one and the bottom one, they almost look identical to each other. In fact, that is why I was kind of like hesitant when I very first found out about this Godzilla Monster Planet picture, is because I was like, is this real, or is this just like a 2014 fan art that someone just is now claiming and calling a Godzilla Monster Planet poster? But no, it's official. There's also a huge update to the Monster Planet website where they kind of redid the entire website, and I'm sure there'll be new developments on it soon, so we'll cover those then. Now, yes, well, a lot of people are comparing this design to the 2014 design. I want to go back to that old picture of the quote-unquote fan art that was released for Godzilla Monster Planet, where he was just this massive being, bigger than mountains, just so huge. He had that blue glowing heart, and he was just this incredibly huge monster. I want to go back to that image because there are some similarities between the finalized design and this quote-unquote fake fan art picture. I'm kind of leaning towards now that this maybe was a fan art because there are some major differences, such as the bottom of Godzilla's chin is very different. Godzilla's dorsal fins are much larger on this picture, as well as we don't really see a very large chest bone like we see in this picture in the final design. This picture looks like it's a lot more stylized after Shin Godzilla and the Millennium Godzillas, whereas the final design for the anime looks a lot more like the 2014 design, of course. So I am interested to know, like, this must be a fan art, but it's a very good fan art. I am interested to know, however, if they did take any inspiration from it, because you can see there are some similarities to it. Maybe the proportions of Godzilla are a little similar. It looks like the final design has smaller arms, but certain things like the dorsal fins look similar. They're a similar shape, and I know the dorsal fins are always kind of a similar shape, but these ones look pretty similar to me. The face looks a little similar to me, so I'm sure this was just a fan art, but I do kind of find it crazy that the final design does resemble this design in some ways. And I know Godzilla never looks that different other than some occasions, but I still find it kind of cool to go back and look at that picture now, knowing what Godzilla officially looks like, and think, what if Godzilla in the Godzilla Monster Planet anime does wind up being that big? That'd be really crazy. I would love to see that, honestly. I think you couldn't pull it off anywhere but in anime, and that would really explain why no one on Earth and space, because now we know officially from the timeline that Godzilla will be kind of fighting against aliens as well, aliens who teamed up and helped the humans. He'll be fighting against them as well, so now we know that both humans and aliens will lose to Godzilla, and so he's just this incredibly powerful monster. That big of a monster, that would explain why he's so strong, or at least something that would eventually grow that big. That would explain why he's so strong, because maybe he starts out the anime and he's like normal size, you know, like 300, 400 feet, and then by the end of the anime he's just like this mountain size just monster. We also got official confirmation that Godzilla in Godzilla Monster Planet will be the biggest Godzilla to date, bigger than 2014 and bigger than Shin Godzilla. Shin Godzilla being the previous largest Godzilla to date, being 118 meters. So it would make sense. This Godzilla is obviously bigger than that, so it would make sense to see just this incredibly huge Godzilla, because that would be the biggest to date, and I really don't think you could ever top that if he was that big. So I know there wasn't a ton of Godzilla Monster Planet news, but I like the news that we got. I love this picture. Great poster. I really like the black and white feel of it, so I'm really excited to see more news from Godzilla Monster Planet as it arises. Thank you guys all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. D-Man, out.